Hello. Alex Salmond, Scotland's most successful First Minister, died on Saturday the 12th of October, shortly after speaking at a political conference in North Macedonia. Our country and our Parliament are worse off for this loss. Salmond had decided to run again for Holyrood as an Alba candidate for the 2026 elections. Journalist Ian McWhirter, who knew Salmond well, said that he would argue for independence as long as there was breath in his body. And that's almost how it went. Salmond's last political act was to give a speech in Europe's newest independent country. One of Salmond's many achievements was to place Scottish independence firmly in the context of a united Europe. Early in his career, he persuaded the Eurosceptic SNP nationalists that Scotland's place was in the EU, and he argued during the independence referendum campaign that both Scotland and England could be respectful neighbours and partners in today's united Europe. More recently, his Alba party switched to joining Iceland, Switzerland, Liechtenstein and Luxembourg in the EFTA as a faster way of getting Scotland back into the vital European single market. Nobody can get to the top in politics without making enemies. Inspired by the Me Too movement, Salmond's successor, Nicola Sturgeon, set up a new procedure to help victims of sexual harassment make their complaints anonymously. Salmond was accused under this system, but was able to sue the Scottish Government for the way it handled its case. He won and was awarded over £500,000 in damages for a process described by judges as tainted with apparent bias. As soon as that battle was won, Salmond faced a new phase. He was arrested by Police Scotland and charged with 14 counts of sexual assault by employees of the Scottish Government. Again, Salmond won his case, being found not guilty in Scotland's highest court by a jury of 5 men and 8 women. That trial 4 years ago put a stop to Salmond's SNP career and forced him to launch a new party for independence, Alba. However, he was seriously damaged and to his dying day claimed that he was set up by enemies at the top of Scottish Government and the Scottish Civil Service. He was looking for another legal victory too, having launched a campaign for damages against the Scottish Government for pursuing a malicious campaign against him with the aim of keeping him out of politics and inside a Scottish prison. Ian McWhirter wrote that Salmond's death means the closing of that legal path, so we may never know the truth about why the party and government which Salmond led had turned against him. However, Salmond's friend, former MP Joanna Cherry KC, a top lawyer, has said today that the legal claim will go ahead in his name. Ms Cherry said to the Scotsman newspaper that time will vindicate his name, and she added more and more people across the political divide in Scotland are becoming interested in exactly what happened behind the scenes, and so are we. Jim Sillars, former MP and deputy leader of the SNP at one time, called Salmond a politician of the first rank and someone who could command his audience by explaining complex problems and leaving everyone there with a perfect clarity on the issues. His biggest failure, of course, was in a referendum for Scottish independence in 2014, where the Unionist No campaign won the votes by 55% to 45%. Salmond's response was not to hang on to office, but to do the proper thing. He resigned as First Minister the next day. Although support for independence has remained high, averaging 48%, the SNP leadership from 2014 onwards has failed to make a convincing case or to take advantage of the unpopular Brexit decision down south or of the election of unpopular Conservative leaders in Westminster. So what will change under Labour? In his last tweet on the X platform just the other day, Salmond criticised the Scottish Government for showing up at Keir Starmer's first meeting of the Council for Nations and Regions, dominated by regional political figures from various parts of England. Salmond wrote that this new body is designed to diminish the status of our Parliament and the First Minister, adding that John Swinney should have politely declined the invitation, reminding us that Scotland is a country, not a county. Has the independence movement ended with the loss of one outstanding politician? Not according to journalist Leslie Riddick. On X, she wrote today that it's quite the opposite. Responsibility, she argued, has been handed over to anyone who would now vote yes. The baton has been handed over to new generations. So is it time to clear the old dead wood? Time to remove those responsible for what Salmond has called 10 miserable years since the historic no vote of 2014? Is it time to really find out why those whom Alex Salmond promoted into office turned against him? Our former First Minister liked to quote the nation's bard Robert Burns, so in this tribute to our foreign leader, I'll leave you with these verses from Burns. Here's a freedom to him that would read, here's freedom to him that would write. There's nae never feared that the truth should be heard, but they who the truth would indict. Goodbye, Alex Salmond. Thank you.